Hamill Reverse Flash backstory. Holy crap. Alright guys, welcome back to my Flash episode review. My thoughts on tonight's episode of Flash titled Tricksters. And wow, Mark Hamill back as the Trickster. Over 20 years later. And I was so looking forward to this episode. Not just because they brought back the character of the Trickster, but obviously for the main reason being Mark Hamill. And just, for those of you who don't know, Mark Hamill, who famous for Star Wars, who played Luke Skywalker in the original Star Wars trilogy, he played the Trickster in the original Flash TV show with John Wesley Shipp. And it was kind of nice seeing that reunion between the two actors earlier in the episode. And a lot going on in this episode. My only real gripes with it were a couple of things. I wish I wrote down because I didn't take any notes this episode, and I regret that. But main thing being not enough Cisco, and I kind of said this last week. Cisco's really grown on me, and now I need more Cisco. Like tonight wasn't enough. And then just some other minor things I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah. Again, a lot going on. Actually, you know what? Overall, I did going into what I didn't like about it. The young Trickster. I mean, he was okay. I guess he was a little too kooky for my taste, but no one could top Mark Hamill. I mean, he stole the show. He stole the episode. I mean, when you have a guy who not only played Luke Skywalker, but has been the voice of the Joker for the last 20 years in various animated shows, video games, and when you have a character like the Trickster come back who plays a Joker-esque kind of role, and it's so nice having that in the Flash because it almost validates the show in a way. Because a lot of people have gripes with the show because it's too it can be too CWE, too goofy, whatever. But bring in a guy like Mark Hamill, who doesn't really do much TV or movies or anything outside of Star Wars or the Joker or whatever. So it's nice seeing him come back to kind of almost where other than Star Wars, where it all started for him, being a part of the DC universe as a whole. And again, he's Mark Hamill. I mean, not much more to say other than that. But tonight's episode, Tricksters, a lot going on. Yeah, Barry dealing with the revelation of him and knowing more about Wells. Well, not knowing more, but him having these doubts about Wells and not wanting to deal with him anymore. All that drama. And some of the best parts of the episode, were the flashbacks between, you're dealing with Wells and Eobor Thawne, who we didn't know, and that was a completely different person until tonight. And the very gruesome way that Thawne took Harrison Wells' self, his body, his shape, and it's insane. I mean, I wasn't expecting that. I mean, in a way, I was kind of thinking about it. And when they first said, that wasn't Wells' DNA, and since Wells was alive before Thawne went back in time, so that does explain a lot. But now, even then, I'm still curious as to what's going to happen moving forward. Now that there's that revelation of Wells isn't really Wells. I mean, obviously we've known that for weeks now, but still, how everyone's gonna have to deal with that. I mean, you're here to try to kill Cisco once, so. But it just shows it was nice seeing the normal Wells back 20 years ago, and seeing how he died and how and then one of the opening scenes when they should go back in time and you see the fight between Flash and Reverse Flash, and you see a glimpse of Barry's his future suit, which has the white in the insignia. So I mean, this episode made me really giddy, and not just because of the whole Mark Hamill thing, but because we finally get a backstory on Wells or Thawne, or whatever we want to call him, and just so much greatness in an episode, and just so many good character moments. Having Barry and Joe the entire episode, it's nice having an episode kind of focusing on them two, and kind of not focusing on their relationship, but seeing an aspect of their relationship that we don't see a whole lot of. I mean, you see bits and pieces of it here and there, but it's nice having an episode a bit more not like as focused, but it's nice seeing more of them, like hanging out and solving cases. Excuse me. And just having Mark Hamill back, really, it made me excited for this episode because he's freaking Mark Hamill. And I know I wasn't going to talk about him again, but it's Mark Hamill. So, what else is there to talk about? I mean, there's so much. Iris and Flash, and the big reveal at the end when Barry and Joe they sit Eddie down, and Barry reveals himself as to Eddie. Bad idea written all over it. I mean, I kind of understand the reasoning, but it was so out of place. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, we'll see how it goes moving forward. I mean, because we know he's a Thawne, and because we know, I mean, for those of us who saw the Paley Fest footage, you know, something happens to make him go crazy and kills people and kills cops. So I'm curious as to what's going to happen with his character, especially now that he knows that Barry is the Flash. And much like Arrow, they're just telling everybody. I mean, Barry's dad knows, and all his villains know, and everyone knows. And just no one cares about secret identities in these shows. But I mean, of course, the one person he hasn't officially told is Iris. But I mean, like we all understand why he tried the whole time travel thing, whatever. Like that's understandable. But it'll be interesting seeing how the whole Eddie thing is gonna be affecting everyone in the show moving forward. Now that he knows, and let's see, just having more Iris in the show is never a bad thing either. Because what bothers me sometimes is when they sidetrack her storyline and make her more of make her the love interest of the show. And while that's not always a bad thing, it bothers me when they sidetrack a character entirely just to bring her up as the love interest for the main character, for the main dude. And I've gone in the past, but that's why I think they butchered the Linda Park character. Now she's gone again. Like, I don't know, I mean, she's supposed to be with Wally West anyway. I mean, we'll see if they're even going to bring him in the show. But it was nice seeing an aspect of Iris, having her a little more focused on what's going on with that Mason dude and his disappearance. And the whole reasoning, again, going back to the whole telling anything, like the whole reasoning for them telling Iris, to stay out of it, it was for her safety. But the reason they gave her was such bullshit. I'm sorry, but that was just come on. She's a good reporter. She wouldn't believe that shit. And she's like, "Oh, I guess you really don't know someone." I'm just come on, don't believe Eddie's bullshit. Like I don't know. That was a little too cheesy for me. But yeah, overall, tonight was really, really solid episode, and it was nice having all those character moments between Barry and Joe, and even Barry and his dad, and that's one of my favorite parts of the show. And is that they don't bring my big thing is that they don't bring in Barry's dad enough, because when he's there, I mean, it makes me giddy because he used to play Flash, and I was a huge fan of his, and now seeing him back in the Flash world make me really happy. And just his interactions with Barry always make me feel good. I mean, not just because it's it's like a flash, whatever, but because it's the fatherly love he has for his son. I mean, we see that kind of thing from Joe, but it's nice having Barry's father in his life like that. Even though he's in prison, having them have those moments, and when Barry takes out the mask in front of him, and he even Henry's all geeking out about the suit and being in Star Labs and all that. That was really enjoyable. And even having that brief reunion between Mark Hamill and him, since they were both in the Flash show 20 years ago. That was really cool. But yeah, so many good things about tonight's episode. Made me really giddy. And unfortunately, there's another break between the shows. This is the last one before the season finale. Thank God, but I'm tired of these breaks. I'm so tired of these breaks. I just want to watch my shows continuously. Why can't these all just be on Netflix or something? Just no breaks, no commercials, no nothing. I just want to watch these shows. Alright, so I think that'll be it for me, guys. So, you'll hear from me in 2 weeks. And actually, this Friday I'm going to WonderCon up in Anaheim. And hopefully I can get into the DC panel with Flash, iZombie, and Gotham. So, if there's anything from that, I'll let you guys know. So until then, have a good one, guys.